Uh-huh. Click the link and dive right in. AI bites in every spin.
Ever heard about a family so powerful that they could basically like bankroll a whole war?
Or even stop one.
Yeah, stop one dead in its tracks. We're talking about the Rothschilds.
The Rothschilds.
And today, we're going to be diving into the story of their founder.
This guy, he's so mysterious.
Oh, tell me about it.
There's not even a confirmed portrait of him out there.
Nope, no portrait. So we're talking about Meyer Amschel Rothschild. You familiar with him at all?
Oh yeah, he built this crazy financial dynasty, right? Dominated Europe in the 19th century. 5 of his sons, they were major players all over the continent.
Unbelievable.
It's wild how much power they had, but we don't really know much about the guy who started it all.
It's true. And that's why we're diving into this book, Founder, by Amos Elon.
Founder.
It's a biography that tries to untangle the mystery of this guy, Meyer Amschel Rothschild.
Yeah.
And we've got some stuff to help us along the way, we've got a review from the Times by Ian McIntyre.
Okay.
And we've got some other pieces, too. One of the first things I noticed that really stood out to me was this quote from Disraeli.
Okay, yeah.
And Disraeli said, "You can't have too many Rothschilds."
Wow.
Which is, Disraeli's not a man to mince words.
No.
So that tells you something right there. That's some serious power, right?
For sure, yeah.
And then there's this whole thing about the Suez Canal.
Oh yeah, the Suez Canal.
Connecting Europe to Asia by sea.
Huge. Absolutely massive.
Totally changed the game.
Oh, it's a perfect example. By the 19th century, they had more wealth than almost anybody in history.
Really?
Yeah. And the Suez Canal, they provided the crucial funding for that. They knew, they just understood how important it was for trade, for global power. It's really a great example of how their financial decisions impacted, world politics,
It's incredible. And speaking of impact, get this. Meyer Amschel's widow, she supposedly said, "There will be no war in Europe.
Wow.
My sons will not provide the money for it."
How much faith did she have in their influence?
Right.
It's a bold statement.
Yeah.
And it really shows how well the family understood war.
Yeah.
They knew it was a business, an expensive one.
Expensive business.
They knew that their money, or, the lack of their money, could determine whether conflicts exploded or just fizzled out.
It's incredible.
Talk about power.
So, okay, this book, Founder, how does Elon actually bring all of this to life? Because telling the story of a man with almost no personal records, it's got to be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
It must have been a real challenge.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out Founder is the first real in-depth biography of Meyer Amschel Rothschild. And from what I've read, it seems like Elon did an incredible job, even without a lot of first-hand stuff.
Right.
Reviewers, people like Niall Ferguson.
Okay, yeah, I know him.
He called it a classic account, praised how meticulous the research was. And even Penelope Fitzgerald, she's a really famous novelist, pointed out that Elon managed to bring Meyer to life without having an actual image of him.
That's impressive.
Relying on all this amazing historical context instead.
Yeah, Elon really, he goes deep into the world that Meyer Amschel lived in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the social stuff, the economic situation, the politics of the time. He paints this picture of how this young guy from the Frankfurt ghetto managed to make it in this super complex world.
Wow.
Full of prejudice, but also, full of opportunity. And he built this incredible financial empire that literally reshaped Europe.
It's just amazing to me how a figure so important, so central to European history is still shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, it's true.
But Elon's book does give us these fascinating glimpses into who he was. For example, I read that he was known for having this incredible work ethic.
Oh yeah, he was a machine.
A machine.
Yeah.
And he had these shrewd business tactics. He just knew how to play the game.
He was ahead of his time, absolutely.
He understood the power of information.
Yeah.
And he built this network of agents.
Oh, yeah. And keeping him informed ahead of the curve.
Ahead of everyone.
Exactly. And it wasn't just him, right? He passed that down to his sons, this incredible sense of unity, this shared purpose.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They worked together, like a well-oiled machine.
Wow.
Leveraging their connections all over across borders. That was a big part of their success.
So we've got this incredibly powerful dynasty
Yeah.
started by this brilliant but really mysterious guy.
Yeah.
And Elon's book shed some light, but there's still so much we just don't know.
It really makes you wonder, what if he had chosen a different path?
Yeah.
What if Meyer Amschel hadn't been so driven to build this financial empire? How would things be different?
Yeah.
How would history have unfolded? It's fascinating to think about.
Isn't it? Well, that's all the time we have for our deep dive on the founder of the Rothschild dynasty.
Fascinating stuff.
If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Click the link and dive right in. AI bites in every spin.